Hello everyone. So I expect you come here for Python videos. Let's look at some C code instead and attempt to write something in C using pointers. Now, hang in here because if you're used to Python and you're not familiar with pointers, it is quite difficult to start with. So I'm not going to lie, but hopefully what you'll see is somebody who's been learning about pointers and picking up a bit of C for a while, attempting to write some code from scratch. So yeah, this could go spectacularly wrong or it might go okay. What I'm going to do is talk about it as I go through. So without further ado, let's write some code. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to include stdio standard io .h, and that's a standard C library. You'll always use that one. And I'm going to write int main. You might be used to using int main in Python. Excuse me. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a list, aka an array, and then we're going to use pointers to move up through the list. And when the pointer gets a higher value than it's already got, it'll store that or it'll capture that, and then we'll return that at the end. So we're going to find the biggest value in our list. Yeah, obviously doing it in Python is fairly trivial, but I just wanted to show you what goes on under the bonnet. And I think it's probably just good to be aware of other languages. So yeah, if you've not seen pointers in action before, then you're in for a treat. Let's go. So I'm going to create an array, and I have to declare the array as an integer array. I'm calling it AR. You can call it whatever you want. I'm going to declare, so everything that follows on this line is an integer. MX, which is a pointer. So start PTR and start MX are pointers. So MX and PTR is the name, and they are pointers to integers. An integer, hopefully you're familiar with what the difference between an integer and string or whatever in Python. I'm not going to go into doubles and floats and so on. And then I'm just going to do I, which will be used to iterate through my list, my array, and n as well, which will be. What I need to do is also, I'm going to make something called, I'm going to define max. And that's basically a constant. So when the compiler runs, it substitutes, wherever it sees the word max, it will substitute in the number 100. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a for loop to ask the user to input 7, n equals 7, for I equals 0 to I is less than 7, n equals 7. Just I plus plus. So it's going to increment the counter, and I'm curly braces, and then I'm going to print to the screen. Instead of print, it's printf. Percent. No, I don't need. Let's just do enter a number, and you'll see this 7 times. Yeah, and also you do need to put in the semicolon on the end of each line, other than if it's the start of a loop, so a for loop or a while loop. This basically terminates it terminates the bit that you're doing, but not the overall loop. Scanf, which reads in, it's just like input in Python. Scanf %d, so it's reading in a digit, and it's going to store it at a memory address. So that's the ampersand, and it's going to store it at the ith position in the array. So why have I still got? On line 9, I need, you see how on line 11 it's showing me red lines underneath the 4? I missed out the semicolon on line 9. There you go. So it kind of helps you as you go along. And why have I got... Expression must have pointer to object type, but it has type int. I've only called a variable there. I need to put the square brackets and put max there. I didn't declare my array correctly. So that's important when you declare an array. So if that was Python, you'd be calling it ls, and then you'd be doing square brackets to create your list. So the equivalent in C is an array, but you do need to specify the length when you create it. So if I compile that, GCC is what I'm using. You can use G++ or you can use CLang. And I'm just going to compile it with maxfinder.c, just with its name. That's compiled without error. To run it, you have to do // because it's not in your path, and then the file name. A.out is the default if you don't specify an output file name. And that's worked. So far we're just asking the user for 7 numbers. Nothing untoward there. So this is a good bit now. So what we want to do is we want to use the pointers, and the pointers, as I iterate through the array, the pointers PTR, the pointer called PTR is going to keep moving to the next memory address. If the value at the current memory address is greater than the value stored in the pointer called mx, then mx will get the value from the current pointer, and then mx will become updated with the latest highest value. Let's write it. So to start with, ptr equals array, and then mx equals array. Now, if you just specify ARR, it will, without any square brackets after it or without an ampersand, what ARR is the address of the first element of that array. For I equals 1. We don't care about I equals 0 because we've already set it on line 17 and 18. We can use n there, can't we? So line 20 is almost the same as line 11, apart from I equals 1, because we've already captured I equals 0 on line. So array, square bracket 0, we've already captured that address on 17, 18. So for I equals, we're going to go through this loop 8 times. 7 times even. And what I'm going to say is if the value of the value of PTR is greater than the value of MX, then what we want to do is we want to move the pointer. So where you see a star, that's dereferencing the pointer, so it's taking the value of the pointer. If there's no star, we're dealing with the pointer, the addresses that the pointers are pointing to. Quite confusing. Takes probably 6 months to get your head around this. Maybe less if you're smarter than me. Smarter than I am, even. So PTR, no, MX. So maximum MX moves to become the address, the same as the address of the current pointer. And then to make this iterate, or to make this keep going up and up, we then need to do pointer plus plus, so the pointer goes up one. And it keeps going all the way through the array. Then on line 28, we're just going to print the max. So print f %d, and then we want to print the value of the pointer. So the value that the pointer points at is dereferenced with the star, the asterisk. And let's run this and see what we get. This could fail spectacularly, hopefully not. Let's just do CL clear the screen. So GCC max finder, see. If you want to see how to compile it with a different name, then we just do -sign O, not 0, this is O for output, lowercase. And we will do, we'll call it maxf. It's compiled, so now we can run it with // maxf. Enter a number. So we'll do 5, 2, 1, 77, 1, 2, 3. And it's not presented it very nicely, but it's definitely worked. There we go. I'll just recompile it again. So GCC maxfinder.c, which is our input file, space, then minus, then lowercase o, that means output, then space, and then whatever you want to call it. So maxf. If you're on Windows, you'd call it maxf.exe. Run it. We know it already works, so max number in array is 6666. So there we have a working pointer arithmetic maximum number finder. This is partly me trying to show you how you can learn another language, basically. I learned Visual Basic many decades ago. PHP maybe 2 decades ago. Yeah. Python I learned, actually now it's the last decade. So I don't know, 2019 probably. C, I've learned on and off. I've messed around with Arduinos, but the big challenge with learning C is getting your head around pointers. So I would suggest a good book. Again, I'm not getting any commission for this, so the book is called Learn-C-Programming. And if you go, once you get the book on GitHub, there's the code for each of the chapters. Let's go to README. Let's try and view it as well. Oh, you can get it as an so ebook or physical book. That's the book. C is a powerful general-purpose programming language that is excellent for beginners to learn. This book will introduce you to computer programming and software development using C. If you're an experienced developer, this book will help you become familiar with the C programming language. This book covers the following exciting features: understand fundamental programming concepts and implement them in C, write working programs with an emphasis on code, indentation, and readability, break existing programs intentionally and learn how to debug code, adopt good coding practices, and develop a clean coding style. Yeah, so anyway, I'm not a salesman, so if you want to see what I'm currently learning from, then that's the book. And you can get the code from GitHub. So hopefully this has been, I know it's not Python, but I think if you can learn pointers, you may end up losing weeks or months of time and neglecting your Python studies, and even your YouTube channel. But there's a lot of power and performance that you can get with C, and I'm just scratching the surface, but hopefully I've shown how you can start to learn C. End of story. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you don't mind, please. Thumbs up. Very few people subscribe. Maybe it's because I don't mention it enough, and I really don't want to start banging on about subscribe, putting all those annoying things on the screen all the time. So if I won't mention this a lot, but if you could just subscribe, it would help the channel, especially because of the algos, the YouTube algorithms, which seem to prefer people, I don't know, prefers kittens, cats sitting on pianos, and so on. So am I wasting my time? I don't know. Thing is, if you make videos but you're learning at the same time, then it's and I've had discussions with other people about the benefits of running a YouTube channel, and yeah, I'm not gonna go all down on YouTube, because yeah, it's a good way to capture your studies and your development as a developer, a programmer, whatever you want to say. Which leads me on to, are you a coder or are you a programmer? There's if you look up the difference between coding and programming, it's good food for thought. Which if you're a coder, you may only know one language. So really, if you're a programmer, you work out the problem and the logic and the sequence, and the data structures. The code is more like driving a car or tying your shoelaces. Actually, writing the code should be the easy part. Working out the logic and the structure is the clever part. I guess that's why when you see programming jobs with developers, or it says software architect, whenever you see the word architect or senior developer, it actually means you work out the problems and solve the problems. Writing code, really, it's like touch typing, or it should be eventually. We're all on a learning curve, all of us. So yeah, keep going, keep learning different languages. If you learn C or JavaScript, both of them should. If you learn one of them, it'll help you learn the other one. Obviously, JavaScript has got lots of asyncs and loads of promises and all those sorts of things, which C doesn't, but C's got pointers. So if you've never seen a C programming video or never thought about it before, maybe consider it now. And yeah, learn pointers, learn how to compile some software. Any compiled software will be quicker, and you may be seeing stuff nowadays about Rust, Go. So if you're gonna learn a compiled language, then it's probably handy to learn C before you try and learn C++, C#, Rust, Go, and so on. not going to lie, C is difficult. If you want another recommendation, Barry Brown, Professor Barry Brown, free tutorials on YouTube as well. So that's it from me. Don't forget about subscribe. So thank you for watching, and I'll be back soon, possibly with some full-on Python code. So who knows? Thanks for watching.